hope you are having a wonderful day. In today's video, we are going to be doing the October choices for Book of the Month. If you don't know what Book of the Month is a book subscription service where you can get a hardcover book from a selection of books for $16.95 a month. You can also add on 2 books to your box, and your add-on price will vary based on the Book of the Month rewards program. This month we get to choose from 7 books. I chose 1 book from the selected 7, and then I chose another book from all the book category from like their previous one. So I picked up 2 books, and my add-on book cost me $10.99 because I am a friend of Book of the Month. You become a friend of Book of the Month when you're with the company for 3 months, and you get a few perks. And one of the perks is that your add-ons become $10.99, and once you become a BFF, would take a whole year or 12 months, however you choose to say it. There are more perks that come along with becoming a BFF. Now, I started with Book of the Month in July of 2022. I've really enjoyed all the books I've read so far from Book of the Month choices. So our first book is a paranormal called Sign Here. So Sign Here is a paranormal fiction written by Claudia Luck. This is a debut book, so this would be Claudia's first book. So the quick takes from this book is Coyote Trip has a job from hell, but this spooky season he could be due for a devilish big promotion. So we can already tell this one is related to the devil. So the good thing to know is a 400 plus page book, so it's a pretty long read when they tell you it's 400 plus pages. So far, all of the books I've read from Book of the Month have been 300 or more pages, but I haven't read a 400 plus page book from Book of the Month yet. Unreliable Narrator, LOL, and it's a whodunit. Now, I love a good whodunit book because I like the mystery, and then I try to figure out who before I finish the book, and I'm usually sometimes correct and sometimes I'm completely wrong. So the why I love it is written by Samantha Downing. She's the author of For Your Own Good. Basically, she's saying in this whodunit is that she had a lot of ideas of what hell was about when she started reading this book. The Harrison family needs one more member to sell their soul, and this is not an easy book to carry. Now, my question is, why would they start selling their souls, and why have they started selling their souls in the past? So the synopsis of this book is Coyote Trip has a pretty good in the deals department on the 5th floor of hell. Sure, none of the pens work, and the coffee machine has been out of order for a century, and the only drink on offer is Jiggermeister. But Hay has a plan, and all he needs is for one of the members of the Harris family to sell their soul. When Harrison retreats to the family lake house for the summer with their daughter Mickey, a precocious new friend, Ruth, is now told the opportunity Hay has been waiting a millennium for might finally be in his grasp, and with the help of his charismatic co-worker Calamity, he has set a plan in motion. But things aren't always as they seem on Earth or in hell, and the old secrets and new dangers scrap away at the Harris family. Shiny surfaces revealing the darkest beneath. Everyone must face consequences for their choices. Now, this book is interesting because it's a whodunit book. I don't really know if I want to be reading about it. That's the only thing that gets me with this book. Spiritually, I don't know if it's gonna fit right with my soul, and I don't want the negative energy from reading the book to affect me. So I don't know about that, but I do also want to read the book just because I want to know who done it, and I want to know why the Harris family is used to selling their souls. So I won't tell you that I won't be reading this book. For now, I won't be reading this book. Maybe sometime in the future. I'll decide on that in the future. And if you're always wondering what the book is like before you make your choice, you can read a sample. I never do that. Maybe one of these days I will do that. To be honest, before I film these videos for you, I pick up my book based on the cover. I don't read any of the things that I read on the screen to you for my choices. I just one based off the title and the cover. Maybe one of these days I'll have to read a sample and then make my choice. So our second book is Thistlefoot. It's a fantasy. It is by Jenna Rose Netherscott. I'm not even sure if I said that correctly. This is also a debut book. Cover. Is that chicken feet on the cover? Is the house walking or moving? Oh, I believe this is chicken feet. Okay, so the quote for this book: a house on chicken legs plus a girl who can bring an inanimate object to life plus prophecies foretold adds up to the perfect fantasy. The good to know for this book is 400 plus pages. The LGBTQ plus theme, magical, based on a classic. The Why I Love It is written by Pang Shepard. She is the author of The Cartographers, and she's saying she read this book on a 4-hour plane ride. The book is inspired by the Baba Yoga folk tale story, and the people in the book, they inherit a magical house. This book combines Eastern European folk tales, Jewish myth, the synopsis, the Jaeger siblings, Bellatine, a young woodworker, and Isaac, a wayfaring street performer, and a con artist, have been estranged since childhood, separated by resentment and by a wide mile of American highway. But they learn they are to receive a mysterious inheritance. Siblings are reunited only to discover their bequest isn't land or money, but it's something far strange, a sentiment house on chicken leg. Thistlefoot, as the house is called, has arrived from Jaeger's ancestral home in Russia, but not alone. A sinister figure only has the longshoreman as tracked to American shores, bearing with his violent secrets from the past memory and fierce memories that have hidden in Isaac and Bellatine's blood for generations. As the Jaeger siblings embark with Thistlefoot on the final cross-country tour of their family's travel theater show, the Long Shadow Man follows in relentless pursuit, seeding destruction in his wake. Ultimately, time, magic, and legacy must collide, erupting in a powerful configuration determined who gets to remember. The past, and the craft, a new future. An enchanted adventure illuminated by Jewish myth and adorned with lyrical prose and tantalizing and sweet barry berries. Thistlefoot is an immersive modern fantasy saga by a bold new talent. Okay, the only thing I want to know about this book is why this house is on chicken. Is it because they need to move the house all the time? Is that why it's on chicken foot? The only thing I want to know is why is the house on chicken foot? Our third book, The Family Game by Catherine Dedman. This is a thriller. The quick take from this book is the rules of the game may be simple, but when your shady in-laws are up to no good, making it out alive is anything but. Okay, the shady in-laws already remind me, just by hearing shady in-law, reminds me of the movie Monster in Law with Jennifer Lopez and Wanda Sykes. If you haven't seen that movie is on Netflix. You should watch, because that mother-in-law did everything to Jennifer Lopez for her not to marry her son. The good to know is our fast read family drama, creepy and busy. Okay, I love a good family drama, so that already has me intrigued. Quick read for me is about 3 days of read. That's a quick read for me. Wonder how many pages that would be. In my mind, a quick read for me means I can finish a book in 3 days. Why I Love It is written by Creole Loving, the author of Too Good to Be True. The very first sentence of the Family Game, the story goes wrong. It ends up with starting with a death, and then we go back in time to see how that happened. Okay, this is already giving me Clue vibes. If you've ever played the game Clue, it's like you gotta figure out who done it, where did they do it, and what weapon did they use to do it. So just giving the Why I Love It gives me Clue vibes. Okay, the synopsis of this. Harry is a novelist on the blink of stardom. Edward, her husband-to-be, is seemingly perfect. Okay, we already got a problem in the synopsis. It's always bad when you call somebody perfect because, as we all know, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, and when you call somebody perfect, you put unrealistic expectations on someone. In love and freshly engaged, their bliss is interrupted by the reemergence of the Hollenbeck, Edward, eminent family, and the embodiment of American old money. For years, they've dominated the headlines, pulling society strings, and Edward left them all behind to forge his own path. But there are eyes and ears everywhere. It was only a matter of time before they were pulled back in. After all, even though he long severed ties with his family, Edward is set to inherit it all. Harriet is drawn to the glamour and sophistication of the Hollenbeck, who seem to welcome her with open arms. But everything changes when she meets Robert, the incapability magnetic head of the family. At their first meeting, Robert slips her tape, revealing a shocking confession. The inevitable game in motion, which set the inevitable game in motion. What is it about that made him give her the tape? A thing that has the power to destroy everything. As she ramps up her quest for the truth, she endures Hollenbeck's savage Christmas tradition, all the while knowing that losing the game could be deadly. Okay, this is still giving me Clue vibes. I want to know what's on this cassette. I really do. I want to know what's on the cassette. It's also giving me not only Clue vibe, but Jumanji vibe. If you don't know what Jumanji was, it was this game that when you played it, it came to life. So Clue and Jumanji vibe for this. Our next book is by Chloe Gong. It's the young adult category. It is called Foul Lady Fortune. The quick page. Stay alert. The first appeared in the shadowy 1930s Shanghai tale of hijinks where death is ever near. The good to know is romance. 400 plus pages. LGBTQ plus theme. War. The Why I Love It was written by Stacey Lee, the author of The Girl Downstairs. Okay, this book is a spin-off of another book by Chloe Gong called These Violent Delights. And I did pick up The Violent Delight as my add-on book. So there's a playboy in here named Orion Hung. And he has to work with the assassin Rosalind Lang. They don't like each other, but they have to work together. The synopsis is it's 1931 Shanghai, and the stage is set for a new decade entry. 4 years ago, Rosalind Lang was brought back from the brink of death, but the strange experiment saved her life, but also stopped her from sleeping and aging, and allowed her to heal from any wound. In short, Rosalind cannot die. Now desperate for redemption from her traitorous past, she uses her abilities as an assassin for her country, codename Fortune. Okay, I already have a question. Who created the serum experiment that they use to save her life? And okay, I understand it saved her life, but the side effect is you don't age and you don't sleep. Interesting. But when the Japanese Imperial Army begins its invasion, Rosalind's mission provoked a series of murdering is caused by unrest in Shanghai, and the Japanese are under Rosalind's new order are to infiltrate foreign societies and identify the culprit behind the terror plot before more of her people are killed. To reduce suspicion, however, she must pose as the wife of another nationalist spy, Orrin Holmes. And though Rosalind finds Orrin's cavalier attitude and playboy demeanor infuriating, she's willing to work with him for the greater good. But Orrin has an agenda of his own, and Rosalind has secrets she doesn't. Rosalind has secrets that she wants to keep buried. As they both attempt to unravel the conspiracy, the two spies soon find that there are deeper and more horrifying layers to the mystery than they ever imagined. So I am gonna read the book after I read the original book. I did not pick up this book this month. I'll most likely pick it next month. The next book is Passwords. It's by Lori Lyko Albany. I'm pretty sure I didn't say her name correctly. It's an historical fiction. The quick thing is you'll never look at the Scarlet A the same way after reading this quintessential New England tale of power and desire. The good to know is feminine literary based on a classic and infidelity. The Why I Love It was written by Jillian Meadow, author of When We Were Bright and Beautiful. I did read When We Are Bright and Beautiful. It is a 5-star read. It does have trigger warning. So if you want to pick this up, it is on Book of the Month right now. Just go to their August section. You can find the book there. It's definitely a 5-star read, but I say read the trigger warning for the book before you pick it up. If you want to know what that book is about, check out my When We Were Bright and Beautiful review. Click the playlist in my book review playlist, and it is in there. So her thoughts on the book, I think this line is interesting. Are we prisoners of the past, doomed to pay for our ancestors' sin, or are we agents of change blazing forward a new path? I think the question is interesting because we try to teach ourselves to not repeat history, but sometimes history does repeat itself. So this takes place in Scotland in the mid-1660s. I don't read a lot of historical fiction. So the synopsis for this book: Isabel Gamble is a young seamstress carrying generation of secrets when she sails from Scotland in the early 1800s with her husband Edward and the apothecary who had fallen under the spell of the opium as pile of death had forced them to flee Edinburgh for a new world. But only days after arriving in Salem. Okay, every time I hear the word Salem, I think of back then, the Salem witch trial. That's what I think of when I hear Salem in 1800. That's the thing I think of. Edward abruptly joins a departing ship of medic, leaving Isabel penniless and alone in a strange country, forced to make her way by anything. Leaving Isabel penniless and alone in a strange country, or to make her way by any means possible. When she meets Nathaniel Hawthorne, the two are instantly drawn to each other. He is a man haunted by ancestors who sent an innocent woman to gallows, while she is unusually gifted, needle troubled by her own strange talent. As the week passed, they returned Rose, and instantly, unlike Nathaniel and Isabel, grow closer and closer. Together, they are a muse and a dark storyteller, the enchanter and enchanted. But which is in the centralist hypernizing tale, a young immigrant woman grapples with our country's complicated past and learns that America's ideas of freedom and liberty often fall short of their promises. Interwoven with Isabel and Nathaniel's story is a vivid interrogation of who gets to be a real American in the first half of the 19th century. A depiction of early days of the Underground Railroad in New England and atomorphic intentions that capture the long history of unusual women being accused of witchcraft, medically researched yet ineffective. Imagine Hustlers is a timeless tale of art, ambition, desire that examines the roots of the female creative power and the men who try to shut them down. So this book, I don't know if it intrigues me. It does, because I want to know what secret their family is holding and how they fall in love when your husband's fighting and trying to save lives at the same time. So I don't know if I would read this one, but then again I might. But I don't know. I'm not as intrigued or excited for this one as I am about the other one. So our next book is Jacqueline in Paris. It's an historical fiction. It's by Anne Ma. Paris is a place I want to visit someday. A quick hint for this book is before she was the first lady or a fashion icon, Jackie O was a girl on an idyllic study abroad in the city of light. The good to know is romance, international real-life characters, and glamour. The Why I Love It is written by Alison Larkin, the author of The People We Keep. So this book was done based off of research about Jacqueline Kennedy or before she was married Jacqueline Belvoir, and it's about the time she spent in Paris in her 20s. The synopsis is in August 1949, Jacqueline Bouvier, I'm probably not saying her last name correctly, arrived in post-war Paris to begin her junior year abroad. She was 20 years old, socially poised, but financially precarious, and all too aware of her mother's expectations that she makes herself. The synopsis for this book is in 1949, Jacqueline Bouvier arrives in post-war Paris to begin her junior year abroad. She's 20 years old, socially poised, but financially precarious, and all too aware of her mother's expectations that she make a brilliant match. Before relenting to family pressure, she has 1 year to herself, far away, sleeping from sleepy Vassar College in the rigged social circle of New York. A year to explore and absorb the luminous beauty of the city of light. Jacqueline is immediately captured in an intoxicating new world of champagne and chateaux, art and avant-garde theaters, cafes, and jazz clubs. She strikes up a romance with a talented writer who shares her love of literature and passion for culture, even though her mother would think him most unsuitable. But beneath the glitter and the rush, France is fragile place still haunted by the occupation. Jacqueline lives in a rambling apartment with windows, countless, and her daughter. But beneath the glitter and rush, France is a fragile place, still haunted by the occupation. Jacqueline lives in a rambling apartment with a widow countess and her daughter, all whom suffered as a part of the French Renaissance just a few years before. In the aftermath of World War II, Paris has become a nest of spies and suspicion, discrepancy, betrayal lurk around every corner. Jacqueline is stunned to watch the rise of communism and edema in America, but an active movement in France. Never guessing she'd be witnessing the beginning of a political environment that would shape the rest of her life and her future, the rest of her life in the future, and that of her future husband. Evoking, sensitive, rich in history details, Jacqueline in Paris portrays the origin stories of American icons. All brilliantly images the intellectual and authenticating awakening of Jacqueline Bouvier, Kennedy Onassis, and illuminating how France would prove to be her one true love and one of the greatest influences of her life. Our last book is the book that I chose for my book of the month. It's called As Long as the Lemon Tree Grew grows. It's called As Long as the Lemon Tree Grows. This is another debut author. I'm not sure how you say this author's name, but I'll try. Azuka Hatu. Please, I really don't know the name, so forgive me. It's the young adult category. The quick take from this book. This powerful story attracts the journey to self-discovery and the hope of a young Syrian woman whose life is ended by war. The good to know is emotional. You know, I've been reading a lot of emotional books lately. 400 plus pages, so this one is going to take me a lot longer to read because it's 400 plus pages. I wonder how many pages exactly. Social issues and international. The Why I Love It is written by Samir Ahmad. This book portrays life in war-torn Syria. Oh, I can already tell this is gonna make me sad. So this one is about war in Syria. It happens too often. It is too easy, and we turn away from these stories of suffering. Zufa's gorgeous, wrenching debut as Not to Turn Away As Long as the Lemon Tree Grows is a novel about war, about life, undeniable love, and about enduring life, altering power and hope. So I can't wait to read this one. Honestly, I chose this one because of the beautiful cover. The blue was just speaking to me. I don't really know what this one's about, so we're about to read this enough. Okay, this book has some hard names, so please forgive me if I get them wrong. Selma Kasba was a pharmacy student when the cries from freedom broke out of Syria. She still had her parents and her big brother. She still had her home. She had a normal teenager life. Now, Selma volunteers at a hospital in Hama, helping the wounded who fled through the doors daily. Secretly, though, she is desperately trying to find a way out of her beloved country before her sister-in-law Layla gives birth. So desperate that she has manifested a physical embodiment of her fears in the form of her imagined companion, Kafal, who haunts her every move in effort to keep her safe. Even though Kafal passing her leaves Salma torn between her loyalty to her country and her conviction to survive. Salma must contend with bullets and bombs, military assassins, and her shifting sense of morality before she might finally breathe free. And when she crosses the path with the boy she's supposed to meet one fateful day, she starts to doubt her resolve for leaving her home at all. Soon Selma must learn to see the events around her for what they truly are. Not a war, but a revolution. And she decides how she too will cry for Syria's freedom. Okay, there is a content warning for this book. Content warning in this book. This book contains a scene depicting the death of a child. So if that's going to bother you, just know that this comes with a content warning. Let me know down in the comments what book you would have chosen. There would have been there's 4 choices that I would have gladly chosen. So I did choose As the Lemon Tree Grows. I chose another book. I'll show you what it is. It's by Chloe Gong. The add-on book that I chose is called These Violent Delights. It's by Chloe Gong. Chloe Gong also wrote the book that you saw in the beginning of the video called The Foul Lady Fortune. And The Foul Lady Fortune is a spinoff of this book, so I did pick up this book. I will give you the synopsis of this book just in case you want to read it. It says, the year is 1926 in Shanghai hums the tune of debauchery. A blood feud between 2 gangs runs the street. Red, leaving the city helpless in the grips of chaos. At the heart of it all is 18-year-old Juliet Pye, a former flapper who has returned to resume her role as proud head of the Scarlet Gang, a network of criminals far above the law. The only rival power are white flowers who have fought the Scarlet for generations. And behind every moving heir, Roma Montagov Juliet's first love and first betrayal. But when the gangsters on both sides show unstable, illuminating in all of their own throats out, the people start to whisper of conjugating a madness of monsters in the shadow. As death, Juliet and Roman must set their guns and gouges aside and work together, for if they cannot stop this mayhem, then there will be no city left for either to rule. So this was my add-on choice, and you can see what other people thought. So on Book of the Month, this 42% of the people loved it, 40% liked it, and 15% disliked it. So I'm excited to read this too. Let me know what you would have chosen out of the 7 books. And if you want to sign up for Book of the Month, I have a discount link that will have you pay $9.99 for your first month on Book of the Month. I do not make anything off of this link, but I do get 1 book credit for you signing up through my link. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, I'm always thinking of you, sending my love, and bye for now.